When it comes to buying a new device or a new phone, one thing I've always said is never buy your phone from a carrier, always buy it directly from the manufacturer. Because in a lot of cases, carriers will go and lock the device to their network so you can't easily go and switch it to another service without jumping through many and often cases a lot of hoops. They'll also go and remove some functionality from the device, such as hotspot in a lot of cases, and they also install bloatware to the device. So basically, you're spending the exact same amount of money if you were to buy it from the manufacturer, and you're getting less functionality with additional garbage installed. So here in the US, the three main carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, are basically a triopoly at this point. And it's gotten so extreme that they're even going and redefining what LTE compatible devices are. So here is a OnePlus 5. It's a pretty old device by today's standards. 2017, 2018, I think was its release. And as you can see, it's perfectly fine connected to the LTE network. So what's exactly going on here? Well, currently it is on the Verizon network going through an MVNO, and it looks connected, but in fact, the only reason it's connected is due to a workaround that I have kind of figured out. I don't know if this applies only to MVNOs or if this applies to the Verizon mainnet. But if I turn all the bands on or turn on all the functionality, all the bars disappear. The only way this device actually works and connects to the LTE network is to turn it to LTE only. Oops. And which is like, okay, it has full bars, it has service, so what are you exactly complaining about? Well, I can access the data just fine, but I can't call or text even though VoLTE is there listed in the settings and can be turned on. It sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it? I can actively use any form of internet communication, whether it be Discord, whether it be Signal, whether it be Line, or anything else that runs through the internet. But the moment I want to call or text using literally the same network, LTE, through VoLTE, nothing. So what they are doing is they're scanning IMEIs, which there's a good side and a bad side to this. When you scan an IMEI, they're checking for bad IMEIs or stolen devices, which is something these companies should be doing. If a device is stolen, you don't want it actually operating on your network. You don't want to incentivize that kind of behavior. But the second thing they're doing with it is they're scanning the model. If the model of device is whitelisted on their network in order to function, even though it has the goddamn hardware in order to actually get it to work, they don't want to actually let it function if it's not whitelisted or approved. Or even if it was whitelisted or approved at one point, they'll still make it non-functional. And I've been railing Verizon on this, but AT&T has also done this, as I can show on my other OnePlus 5 over here. In fact, AT&T has gone above and beyond because even the workaround that I'm using on Verizon currently isn't working on AT&T. So as you can see here, I had perfectly functioning service, was even receiving text messages through AT&T long past their 3G deprecation date, and suddenly one day, pop, just no more service. They completely removed all functionality or service because they went and reclassified the device as 3G only in order to try to force me to upgrade into a newer model of phone, even though it wasn't explicitly required. And I understand if you're trying to suggestively sell people to 5G, but taking perfectly working 4G devices and basically relegating them to the trash heap just so you can make an extra buck is so anti-consumer, it is ridiculous. The reason I bring all this up is currently we have Verizon advocating to the FCC to not only allow them to continue locking devices, but allow them to actively put up hurdles to make moving your service from one carrier to another even harder than it already is. You already have to jump through many hurdles. You have to have active service for 6 months and then open the phone app and enter this special code to unlock the device so you can actually move the device. This is my device that I bought and paid for. If I walk into a store and buy the device outright, it is my device, not yours. You shouldn't get to decide how I get to use it. Plain and simple. So some of the keen-eyed among you might be going, okay, the OnePlus 5 launched 2017, 2018. It's 7 to 8 years old. It's probably really slow, and I would agree with you, except for the fact that I don't run the stock OS on any of my devices, because I actually like using my devices long into the future. So this is running Lineage OS. I run Lineage OS on basically everything, and I could use something like Graphene OS, or what was the other one, Calyx OS? I could use something more privacy respecting if I wanted to, but Most of these other custom ROMs are basically built for the Pixel lineup, and all I have is OnePlus phones because back before the Pixel series kind of really took over that space, it's kind of what was recommended was the OnePlus series, and that's what I got. I got all OnePluses here because I wanted to have later versions of Android on my device than what were actually officially supported, and I wanted to continue receiving updates longer than the 2 years that most manufacturers give it. And speaking of workarounds for carriers, I have one for T-Mobile for getting your VPN to not count as hotspot usage. But I'll probably save that for a future video when I can either build a script around it or build like a topic around it, or for when I build up enough subscribers and start streaming.